Well, would you look at this? Yet another new utility vehicle.
Yeah, we've got the Chevrolet Trailblazer, all new.
So let's get in, go for a drive, and we'll tell you what's going on with this new small utility. What do we have to put it in?
We have to put it in S for subscribe.
And don't forget to follow along on Instagram. Andrea's Instagram is motormouth_Andrea. That's where she also does the questions. And motormouth_auto for the channel for me,
yes.
for the fat guy.
Oh, God.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. First of all, turn off the seat heater. What was I thinking?
Yeah, it's a nice day.
Okay, hit it. I hit it.
Listen to that. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
There is a nice sound to this engine, and you won't believe, well, you might not believe, we know what's under the hood.
Yes.
What's under the hood of this thing?
So it's a 1.3 liter turbo, 155 horsepower, and 174 pound-foot of torque. And you can feel that torque.
Yeah, but back this up again. The main thing is, it's a 1.3 liter, but it's a 3-cylinder.
I know.
It's crazy.
And a 9-speed automatic transmission.
Yeah, no CVT here, but the entry level is a 1.2 liter turbo, and that does come with a CVT.
Yeah, and that's got 137 horsepower and 162 pound-foot of torque. That's in the base model, only front-wheel drive.
If you hear a clunk in the back, it's the tripods. It's not the car. It's our camera gear. So when the light changes, it will go again. We'll put it in. It also has like a sport button.
Yeah, put it in sport. It has 3 drives.
Yes,
normal,
it's got normal, sport, and all-wheel drive.
That's right.
Hit it all the way. It actually sounds pretty good. It's really hard to believe this is a 3-cylinder turbo.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it, all that torque you mentioned was 175 pound-feet?
174.
Maximum torque comes on at just 1,600 RPM. So that's very, very low in the rev range, which means it's usable. And driving in the city, you are not wishing you had more power.
No, not for city driving at all. Although when you do accelerate, I find the steering to be a little bit light, and I have to constantly correct the car.
It's got a vague steering feel, which is overly boosted and quite light. Now, when we get to the next light, I want to do the same acceleration away, but I want to do it, I'm going to put it in all-wheel drive.
Okay.
And see
if that makes a difference.
Yes, because Andrea she was out driving around, she came back, she says, when I accelerate away, I feel this tugging at the wheel. I said, well, that's called torque steer, because this is such a torque monster with 174 pound-feet of torque.
You got it.
Maybe there's just so much power going to the front wheels, we need to split it up and send it to the back wheels.
It's in all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive, and okay, and hit it.
Better.
There's better?
It's better.
Yeah. But torque steer is also compounded by an uneven road surface. So if you're on a road that's a little bit rutted or, whatever, it will sort of tug along with it. But I think that, putting it in all-wheel drive certainly helps. Yeah,
that made actually quite a difference, I have to say.
Okay, we think the engine is good. I think the fact that it's got an automatic 9-speed is good, right?
Well, it's a nice change from a CVT.
Yep, and I think that for me, I don't mind the way it drives. You think the steering's overly boosted.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the steering.
All right, let's get on to looks. How do you think this thing looks?
Wonderful. I think that Chevrolet did a terrific job. I think it's sporty looking. This is the RS model. It's supposed to look sporty. I like that two-tone paint with the red roof and the black, and there's other combinations that you can get. Overall, a really good job with the exterior.
They have one that they think is going to be quite popular. It's called Activ, and it's basically the same price as the RS, but it gives you a little bit more of a utility vibe, like an off-grid, off-road kind of thing.
Now, this one comes with the 18-inch wheels, but The Activ actually comes with 17-inch wheels, but the price point is very similar.
There's a mechanical difference though. They have a slightly different suspension in the Activ. They say it's for really light off-roading, so different shocks. That might change the way it feels in the steering department.
I was thinking that also with this RS, you really feel the bumps in the road. Like it definitely has a sportier drive to it, and when you go over speed bumps, you can really feel them. I don't know if that has something to do with the 18-inch wheels because they're bigger.
Could be, but we'd have to get another one of them back to try it out. So styling is strong and packaging is very strong. This is a nice size utility. The closest competitor on size is Seltos.
That's right. And it kind of feels like the Seltos, that headroom that you get in this, it just feels quite open.
The back seat is really quite roomy. The cargo area is good. This seat here that I'm in folds flat forward, so you can put in items that are 8.5 feet long through the entire cabin. Another standout for me, in my opinion, is that it's actually very well designed on the inside when it comes to storage. Like this is a small utility, big door pockets, storage in the middle, and other little cubbies here and there. I think they did a good job of that. So with the Seltos, we said the interior was plastic.
Fantastic.
And this one is kind of plastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, kind of. It's better than the Seltos. It has more mixed materials. I would say because this is the sporty model, I love all the red stitching and the red accents throughout. Isn't it cool? Oh, and I love the shifter.
I gotta tell everybody again. I'm colorblind.
Oh.
I don't see it. I don't
Zach
notice
doesn't see it. You don't see red. What do you see?
I just see it looks a slightly different color, but it doesn't pop out at me. The only part that looks really red to me are the gauges have a red ring around the gauges. I do see that. The stitching is lost on me.
Well, the stitching at the steering wheel, you know, it's got half of it is perforated and it's kind of got a gloss finish on the bottom. You've got this red stitching throughout the steering wheel and throughout the car. I like the shifter with the RS red, you know, do you see it underneath?
No.
And I just think overall it looks a little bit more upscale for this category.
This car is winning on some features for sure. Power tailgate in this size vehicle is not offered by anybody else except Chevrolet.
And that makes a big difference, especially with families. You know, you're holding a child and you've got groceries in your hand, and I think it's just so convenient.
I always say, if you've had many cars with a power liftgate, would you ever buy another vehicle without it?
I couldn't go back.
So now you can do it in a small utility.
Yeah, fantastic.
It has a kick feature apparently, but we can't get it to work. So I'm not sure. I don't know if this particular one doesn't have it or it's just not working. Another cool thing is this car is the very first non-premium car that I've ever been in that has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto as standard equipment on all trims. And wireless charging pad, because the phone is using more energy to connect.
That's right.
You're getting juice. You just put the phone there and that's it. And
you can connect 2 Bluetooth devices at the same time, which is awesome.
By the way,
lots of tech in this.
Lots of tech in this car. By the way, that technology, the wireless Android and what have you, was developed here in Canada. They have an advanced research department, or actually tech center in Ontario that developed that. It's going to be used throughout General Motors. Another feature they came out with, you probably experienced with the Cadillacs we've driven recently. I think it's called Bluetooth Low.
Yes.
When you walk up to the car wakes up. Your key fob is already communicated with the car and opens the lights, gets you ready to open the door. That also was developed in Canada.
Yeah, well, that's really cool.
Another couple of things. This car has Wi-Fi hotspot. And it has OnStar telecommunications. So if you need to get in touch with somebody, you can do that. Like, this is all stuff that General Motors does really, really well.
And in a subcompact SUV like this, it's a game changer.
Big screen, easy to use, graphics are simple.
Yeah, this has got a 7-inch touch screen. It was easy to pair.
And there's an 8-inch too, isn't there?
There's an 8-inch. You have to pay extra for that. That's an option. Inches are good.
Why would you want 7 inches when
And
you could
can
have
get
8 inches?
8. To get the automatic liftgate, it is in a package with the panoramic sunroof. So that means you have to pay almost $2,000. So even if you don't want the panoramic sunroof, you're getting it.
Yeah, but you know me, I don't love panoramic sunroof. This is a huge panoramic sunroof.
It's beautiful.
And a little car like this and the power tailgate, this is one time I would absolutely spend the $2,000 to get those 2 things. All right, you know what we need to do? We need to stop and have a coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Okay, so I'm going to combine these 2 questions. How does it compare with the Kia Seltos with their larger turbo engine? And if you've driven the Kona Turbo, which is the same engine, please share your thoughts on how it compares.
Okay, this one has 155 horsepower. The engine in the Seltos and the Kia, the Turbo, is 175. So you get 20 horsepower more. I have driven the Kona, but not the Seltos. And I would say if it was between the Turbo of those 2 vehicles and this, I would get the Turbo of the Korean twins.
Right.
But if it was the regular 147 horsepower version, it would be this one.
Okay, makes sense. So does this one, Trailblazer, come with heated and cooled seats? Yes, heated, driver and passenger, no cooled. Here's an interesting one. Why did General Motors not design the Blazer like a traditional SUV like Ford did with the Bronco? So Chevrolet never really wanted that for the Blazer. It's out now. They felt consumers wanted a mid-size SUV. However, the Bronco,
yeah, selling. Pre-sales are already in the hundreds of thousands. People want that. General Motors has something up their sleeves, the Hummer. And we all know everyone loves a Hummer.
and can you believe full EV?
Everyone loves a Hummer. So as we know, these car companies are slicing the pie thinner and thinner when it comes to adding more and more utilities. Quick question for you. Think back to when our kids were little kids, two and 3 years old. Would you like a vehicle like this, fully loaded in the low 30s? Or would you rather have a bigger CRV or RAV4 style, but nothing in it?
Nothing in it.
Like kind of basic.
Okay, then I would get this fully loaded, I think, because this really is quite large.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about it. That's why I brought it up, is when those vehicles were first introduced in the 90s, they were quite small. They were cute utes. That's what they were called. And they've continued to grow and evolve over the years.
Well, this one fits between the Trax and the Equinox. So they thought, oh, gee, we need it. Just like the Seltos. It's the same thing.
So I kind of referenced the price of this one. Fully loaded is in the 30,000 range.
Yeah, 30,498.
Plus things like the big panel roof and all those things.
That
All
doesn't
right, so
come
where does this start with that 1.2 liter?
So if we're gonna, the front wheel drive starts at 23,798, and then if you want to get the LS all-wheel drive, which gives you the 1.3 liter turbo engine, it's 25,798. Okay, so the LT all-wheel drive is 27,998, which is pretty good value on that trim level. The base of the RS all-wheel drive is the same price as the Activ, 30,498.
So people are probably wondering, Drea, why would they go with a 3-cylinder turbo with a 9-speed automatic? Well, it's all for the fuel economy gods. What kind of mileage are we getting here?
So in the city, we're getting 8.9 liters, and on the highway, 7.8 liters.
That's not great considering the engine's so wee. It's a wee engine.
No.
So credit where credit is due. Chevrolet has a right-size vehicle. It looks good. Some features others don't have. Power tailgate and wireless Android and Apple. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, and I agree with you on all those points. It's going to make the market even more competitive in this category. I wasn't totally crazy about the steering. I think that's a bit of a game changer for me.
I guarantee you there'll be lots that love it.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.